I'm Zoe and this is Wrapped Up in Film. So it's that time of the week. It's the crazy time of the week where we try and dissect what the hell is going on in Westworld. So we've just had episode 5 called Contrapasso, which means suffer the opposite. Very, very interesting. Okay, so I don't know about you guys, but whoa, what an episode. Information overload. My head is spinning. I actually couldn't even sleep last night. All these damn theories kept popping into my head and I was trying to work stuff out. I was like, well, if that guy's that guy, then how would he be doing this? And oh my God, maybe it's this guy and maybe this is happening. It's driving me slightly insane, but I'm loving it. I've watched the episode twice and I've gone through the conversations and they're so damn cryptic. But hey, let's try and have some fun with this and try and work it out. And I apologize if I'm a bit all over the place, but it's really hard to try and pinpoint certain bits to talk about because there's so much that happened in this episode. And what an episode it was. Got some beautiful shots, some new scenery for us. And we see Dolores in a new outfit. We've got this great scene with Dolores and Ford, and the man in black talks to Ford, which we haven't seen them together yet. So that's very, very exciting. So let's talk quickly. I'm going to try and be short and sweet with this. So of course I'm going to leave loads of stuff out because I can't go through everything. I'll be here for days and I'll go insane. But I'm going to talk about the main little bits that popped out for me. So we've got the conversation between Ford and Dolores. So Dolores wakes up from this dream state that she thinks she's in, and Ford is asking her questions about Arnold whilst he's squeezing her hand. He's very menacing in this scene. So he's asking her the last time she heard from Arnold, and it turns out that it was the day of his death. Apparently, she says, the day of his death. He wants to know what was said, and she said that he wants her to just destroy the park. So then we've got Ford saying, Dolores asked Ford, are we old friends? And Ford is like, no, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that at all. Very Hannibal Lecter, but very, very evil. So there's a lot of him and Arnold. Clearly, they're enemies. There's Arnold. Arnold created Dolores, so that Arnold is still living within Dolores. Are the voices that she's hearing from Arnold instructing her on what to do? He wants her to destroy the park. And then we've got the great bit at the end of this scene where Ford leaves, and she says, don't worry, he doesn't know anything. Let me find the exact words of what he says when she leaves. When he leaves, she says, he doesn't know. I didn't tell him anything. So who is saying that? Is that the voice of Arnold instructing her on what to do? I think it just might be the man in black. Brutally strings up Lawrence and drains his blood and gives it to Teddy. So first of all, whoa, brutal. Secondly, Teddy's a host. So these hosts actually need blood pumped into them from the other hosts to survive, which is really very interesting. And then the man in black is lying to Teddy and telling him that Wyatt has Dolores to get Teddy to lead him to Wyatt. Elsie finds some kind of satellite device in one of the hosts that tried to kill her, the big meathead dude that tried to kill her. She finds the satellite device inside of him. She shows it to Bernie, and it seems that someone is trying to leak data and information out of the park. Who could that someone be? Is it the man in black? Is it Arnold? I mean, who knows? But again, very, very interesting scene. We are introduced to El Lazo, who looks a lot like Lawrence, right? So when I saw that, I was like, what is going on? So either they've come in and they've fixed up Lawrence. He's been hanging up there with all the blood drained out of him and dead, right? They've come in, very quickly patched him up and shoved him back into the park in a different role. Or there are multiple hosts. There are maybe 2 or 3 of these hosts wandering around in different stories. That's another possibility. Or we're in some kind of different time zone. That is another theory. And this whole time zone thing is just a complete game changer. And whilst we're on the subject of time zone changes, a theory that's been flying around that I'm just not too sure about is that William is the man in black in a younger time zone. And if you think about that theory, it does tie up with a few little bits. There's something that happens I'm going to talk about in a minute that really did make me think, hang on, is William the man in black? Something to ponder about. Very, very interesting. Guys, thoughts on that below. So, yeah, another real head spinner. We've got El Lazo, who is Lawrence. How did he get there and why? The main bulk of this episode is William, Dolores and Logan, and they are on this heist for El Lazo. And this heist goes terribly wrong. People are killed, blood is drawn. We see a very different side to William. Logan and Dolores are in trouble and William turns badass. And he's good with a gun. We see the look in his eye and, you know, he's turned into a killer. So later on, we see that this has totally freaked him out. He's having this argument with Logan. He's saying, I don't want to play this game anymore. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with what's happening. And Logan is a nasty piece of work. There's a very interesting bit where Logan is saying to William, when you first walked into my office in that cheap black suit, could that be a little connection to the man in black? I don't know, maybe. Anyway, the conversation continues and he's saying, you are just chief vice president or whatever. You are just that was the best day of your life. Basically playing the card that I am more powerful than you and I am better than you. And William just snaps and he shoves Logan up against the wall. It was a great scene. And I was like, yes, finally, William has some backbone. He's not just letting Logan put him down all the time and speak to him like crap. He's standing up for himself. So yeah, really, really interesting scene there. And let's just talk a little bit about this epic orgy scene going on. I mean, whoa! Very, very Game of Thrones like, and also very Eyes Wide Shut. There was a lot going on and classic HBO for throwing that one in. I thought it all worked really well. And you got Logan saying, I could get used to this, which is hilarious. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. And then we have the scene with William and Logan where Logan is getting attacked and Logan is asking William for his help. And William just says, no, and runs off with Dolores. I was like, yes! But then it zooms in and you see the look on Logan's face. And man, I would not want that guy as an enemy. And these two are business partners. So that ain't going to end well. And I'm excited to see what is going to happen in the next week's episode between Logan and William, who have now become enemies. And we've got this great scene with, a very interesting scene with William and Dolores, where they're going to run off together and it all gets a bit romantic and cheesy. And Dolores is getting a bit gun happy and she's gone from being this villain to the heroic type character, which is wicked. And she says to William that she's hearing these voices and they're telling her what to do and she needs him. And so they have this kiss and they escape together. So that's interesting. I mean, who is telling her what to do? Who are these voices? She needs to get to this maze. What is in the middle of this maze? Has Arnold planted something in the center of this maze that's going to set her free, apparently? And she knows she needs to take William with her. And it's interesting, William is fallen in love with a host. We've got a guest who's fallen in love with the host. And I'm looking forward to seeing where that's going to go. And then we've got this hugely meaty, generous scene. They give us a lot of information in this scene. We've got the man in black with Teddy and Ford. And this is the first time that Ford and the man in black have been together. And then they're in this bar and the atmosphere and the piano. It's very, very cool. And they have this discussion. And it's still quite cryptic. But what do we learn? So I have to refer to my notes on this one. Okay, because this has been driving me mad. So the man in black tells Ford that he felt the park needed a villain type character and that he wanted to deliver that role. And then he asks Ford if Ford has created Wyatt to stop him from finding the center of the maze. And then Ford asks the $1 million question that we're all dying to know is, what do you want to find in the center of the maze? And the man in black starts talking about purpose and a higher experience. So he seems to be searching for the ultimate experience from the park. Whoa, okay. Then we've got so Arnold, who died 35 years ago. He says Arnold almost took the park with him when he died, but thanks to the Man in Black, he didn't. So it seems like the Man in Black came along and sort of saved the park, maybe invested a huge amount of money in the park. So I'm curious as to how much of the park he owns. Obviously nothing compared to Ford, because Ford is the god in this park, but he's got a huge influence over this park. And then we've got this great bit where he turns around to Ford with a knife and says, I wonder what would happen if we cut you open. And Teddy automatically slams his hand down on the table. Like he's been programmed to always protect Ford, his maker, slams his hand down on the table. And the Man in Black's like, well, you've been well-trained pet there. But why would he want to cut Ford open? Why would he want to see what's inside Ford? Why? Who is Ford? Does he think Ford is some kind of host, some kind of android? Guys, what did you think about that scene? Comment below, because that's really got my head spinning and I'm just like asking myself all kind of questions. And then we've got a great ending to this episode. Quite a nice little cliffhanger where we've got Maeve, the old hooker, the old prostitute lying there naked on the table, played by Tandy Newton. And you just know, you're like, oh my God, you just know she's going to wake up, something's going to happen. And we've got Felix, and he's resurrected this bird. He's completely breaking the rules. He should not be doing that, the rules of Westworld. And we've got this lovely scene. The music kicks in, it's beautiful, and we see the bird flying around. And then suddenly it cuts to Maeve, the bird has just landed on her finger. And she says, hello, Felix. It's about time you and I had a little chat. So what a smart little cookie. She has cracked the system. She knows what's going on. She wants answers. She's like, what the fuck is happening to me? She wants to know the truth, and a great little scene at the end. And I can't wait. I hope we see next week the scene between Felix and Maeve, and Felix explaining to her what exactly is happening. I don't know where that's going to go, but very, very well done. And I'm pumped for the next episode. Oh my God. Okay, so I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover. This has been the hardest episode so far to try and talk about because we were given so much and it's all so damn confusing. But I'm liking where it's going. And again, so many different theories flying around. Are there different time zones? Is William a younger version of the Man in Black? It kind of could make sense. Why did the Man in Black want to cut Ford open to see what was inside of him? What? All of this to come, and I'm loving this, guys. What do you think about this series? It's really making me think. I'm loving trying to work out all these puzzles. I'm really on the edge of my seat, and it's a real treat each week to get a new episode. I'm like, oh yes, we're going to get some new information. We're going to learn more about the hosts and the guests, and we're going to see more about this maze. And that, in my opinion, is what a great TV series is about. So comment below, let me know your thoughts. Thank you for sticking with me through this. I'm sorry, I hope I've made sense and I haven't blabbed on too much. Okay. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for next week and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon.